like I told you, I got a chance to look at that Relentless, that the Crawford documentary. It was on
Mm-hmm.
ESPN a couple of days ago. Man, it's like we talked about before, like you said before too. It's like the fight's exciting, but I love to see like the outside stuff. I like to
Yeah.
see the background, and when you got like a well shot documentary, that really makes you love boxing more. I don't know how you feel about that.
What you say, and yeah, but what kind of documentary?
When you got a well shot documentary, when you got something
Oh,
put together like 24/7 or all access, that makes me love the fight game even more.
oh yeah, oh yeah. They definitely captured Terence Crawford in a very good light. You know what I'm saying? And even just matching his demeanor with the tones and the shades and the environments that they were filming in. You know what I'm saying? It
Yeah,
wasn't a big busy city life, and it was just chilling. And Terence Crawford, he always chilling when you see him. But I definitely thought overall thought it was a really good documentary because Terence Crawford is a kind of to himself kind of quiet guy. He been around all this time, but people still don't really know about him.
mm,
And he made a statement in the documentary where people said that they thought that he was unapproachable, and a few other things. They said that I never thought that about him. He
mhm.
always just seemed like a pretty cool guy, just quiet, just kept to himself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And one thing that caught my eye too is about whenever they kind of talked about resume, like he gives himself credit as being one of the best fighters, but even he had to say that I like a guy. I like a guy that's humble because even he said that he still hasn't had that major fight like a Leonard Duran. You know what I mean? You know,
Absolutely.
he still hasn't had that pound for pound versus pound for pound, but he's already surpassed a lot of the guys he beat. You know what I mean? Like some of the guys he beat, you don't see them competing anymore. Like as far as he's taking something from them. You know what I mean? Like he was able to beat them that dominant, and I think that he knows that. So being at welterweight, he knows that he has a mission as far as if he wants to be like a Sugar Ray Leonard great or have that type of resume, he got to kind of cross that water to get to
Yeah,
Pacquiao and Spencer's. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Absolutely. I was thinking the same thing. Like it was a lot of enlightening information in there, and he realizes that like for me, Ant, when people say, "Oh, Terence Crawford is number one pound for pound," this is what I always say. In my eyes, he is number one pound for pound as far as skill set.
Right.
But as far as opponents, that's up for debate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I know that's not necessarily how the pound for pound list works, but when I say pound for pound, I'm just thinking of his skill set, what he can do, what he has done, how dominant he has been. You know what I'm saying? And what we still are waiting to see from a guy like Terence Crawford. You know what I mean? And then one other thing too, Ant, real quick, while I was on my mind, I wanted to say about Terence is that Terence is he knows who he is. He's comfortable in his shoes. He's not out here trying to be like any other fighters. He's not trying to be a rapper. He's not trying to be a gangster. He's not trying to do anything but be a fighter, a
Mm.
champion, and a family man. And that like resonates to a lot of people because a lot of people lost, and we see fighters all the time, you know,
Yeah.
lose their money, go broke, trying going to jail, babies all over, doing a bunch of nonsense. But when we see Terence Crawford, he just always been having that steady, same situation. Like, yo, I'm still doing the same thing I was doing 10 years ago. I'm just a world champion now. I'm
Right.
still a father to my kids. I'm with the same lady. You know what I mean? So I respect that a lot about him because he could be, as they call it out here, capping or whatever you want to say. You know what I mean? Because we
Yeah.
wouldn't know. He could
Yeah.
be riding around the Bentleys and the chicks. He could be doing that. He might feel like, yo, that's not really me, but that sells. That
Yeah.
promotes me. If I ride around the Bentley, then people want to come see my fights. I mean, I understand why people gotta sometimes do stuff, but
Hmm.
I respect him for just being who he is and okay with that. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be the biggest star. I'm not gonna be the biggest star, but I'm gonna be the best fighter.
right.
You
And
know what I'm saying?
that's what caught my attention too when he said that about even like being competitive and competing. He was like, I'm not looking at what the next fighter's doing. I'm more so in competition with myself. To say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I can do better the next time. I can do better the next time. So that
Absolutely.
kind of reflects his lifestyle too. Because if he was out here worried about the next guy, then you would see him saying, "Oh, this guy got this new Bentley. I'm gonna get the same thing. I'm gonna get something better.
Exactly.
You know, or,
Exactly.
or he got this
Exactly.
much money. I'm gonna take pictures with my money." But you don't ever see him do that.
Or even shoulder rolling or just trying to
Yeah, yeah.
emulate other fighters. I mean, he's his own man.
Hmm.
You don't, I don't look at him and say, "Oh, he trying to do this." Nah, Terence Crawford doing his own thing because it ain't too many people with that skill set. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And what you said too about bringing up like number one pound for pound when you're talking skills, I say that all day too. But yeah, definitely whenever it comes to resume, that's something that that's subjective. Everybody can say, well, so and so is that because they got the
Exactly.
opponents. But when you're talking skills, like when he started talking about his abilities, that kind of reminded me of like some of our earlier shows when we said, "Oh yeah, that's why we
Mm-hmm.
said he was one of the best fighters."
Exactly. Listen, man. It was all the stuff we said. It
Yeah,
was just funny hearing him break it down verbally. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? We like, yeah, we know, but
right,
damn, okay, you know too. You feel
yeah.
me?
Because we watch, I'm like, okay, yeah, he punching, he boxing, he closing the show. He fought tall guys, small guys. He was just naming it, and I was like, oh yeah, we saw that. Yeah, yeah, that's what we've been saying. As far as skills, that's what he
Absolutely,
do.
absolutely, absolutely,
But
absolutely.
but yeah, the family thing that was something that I like to hear. They posted that little quote where he said, he never missed any of his son's wrestling events.
Mhm.
Finding a good balance of family life and the work life. So everything he's doing is for them, and that's why I say, okay, I got respect for a person like that. That's saying, okay, I'm not going to go overboard with the work and let the family, suffer for that. He's there for all their wrestling events. So I got to give him a lot of credit for that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because, like I said, so many other athletes with that family dynamic that their kids don't see them at.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And um another thing I like that he touched on was about, how his son, he said, yo, my son, he want to fight. He want to fight bad. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But I don't want that for him. And as much as a man would want to be in the gym training their son, and you know what I'm saying, any man in the world,
yeah.
you got to understand that you want better for your son.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was dope too, that because if a guy wants to train his son, it is nothing wrong with that either, and you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying. But the fact that a guy who comes from his background and so competitive, and the kids are wrestling already,
hmm,
he don't want them to go that route. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because you can kind of see it. You've seen the father son dynamic before, or just letting the son go off and box. You kind of looking because I mean, even now recently, you're hearing things with Tiafimo and his father. Are they
Mm-hmm.
are they completely getting along? Is it 100%, or does Tiafimo need to leave him? People are already saying that. Or you look
Of
at Danny
course.
and Angel. Like sometimes, Angel Garcia, he can kind of go overboard. So maybe Crawford just looking like, I know if he was to fight, I might be a little overprotective. I'm gonna always try to be there. So he
Mhm.
said the best thing I can say is, no, I don't want him to fight. You know?
Yeah, I want to be there. I mean, and then just like you say, like they asked him, I forget what question it was, and he was just like, "Yo, because every time your life is on the line, the fight game is dangerous, Ant. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was rich and my kid could go to the best schools,
Mm-hmm.
that's something I have to weigh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's something I have to weigh.
Because Terrence, when he chose to fight, he probably felt like, okay, this is all I can do, so I got to go all
Of
in.
course, of
You know,
course, of
but
course.
like,
I didn't have these options.
yeah, but when you have a son that has options, he's sleeping. He's got a bed every night. He got food. There's no need for him to be saying, "Oh, I got to go to the gym." Is put my life on the line every day. There's no need
Right,
for it. He already did that for you.
right. Right. Take punishment to the body. You know what I'm saying? Look, man. No matter how you look at it, you still could have consider it like abuse to the body. Like if you think about what Floyd Mayweather has done to his body since 9 years old. I mean, he took good care of his body, but he still abused it too. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? In a physical way.
The physical way, yeah. Something that you got to think of in the long term. Is he going to be this type of shape at 54 or something? You know what I mean?
54.
Or is he really going to be paying for it? Is he going to be feeling it every day? You know, so he got to be like, yo, son, my knees are hurting right now. I'm 54, my knees are hurting. Ain't no need for you to go through that. So
Right, it's a lot to think about, man. But